Hello fellow video game collectors, and welcome to another Pickups episode. So today I'm going to be talking about a package of games that I got from my good friend Chris. He regularly trims down his collection every now and then, and he always offers these games to me first. So here is the most recent lot of games that I got from him. Overall, I paid just $80 for everything, including shipping, since he doesn't live close to me. Alright, so the first game I got from him was a copy of Lost Odyssey for the Xbox 360. And the good thing about this game is it is now backwards compatible on the Xbox One. So the game is a typical Japanese RPG where you're just trying to stop the big bad evil thing from destroying the world. Your character is an immortal who suffers from amnesia, and he's trying to regain his memories throughout the game. So Lost Odyssey is a traditional turn-based combat game, so fans of Final Fantasy will feel right at home with the combat system. There's also just a kind of slow progression with the story. It's a fairly long game, but it's still good, but it just slowly progresses. And there's plenty of side quests for you to do in it as well. And it's just quite an underrated RPG for the Xbox 360, and one that has just flown under the radar for me over the past few years until maybe a year or two ago when I first heard about it. Definitely check it out if you like RPGs, especially Final Fantasy games. It's something I'm looking forward to checking out, especially since it's backwards compatible now. Next, I got from him a copy of Transformers Fall of Cybertron. So this is a third-person shooter that is a sequel to Transformers War for Cybertron, also for the 360 as well. So in this game here, there are lots of different Transformers that you play as throughout the entire game in the single player story. So it might be a bit jarring as you don't really stick with just one particular Transformer throughout the entire game. You're just constantly switching from one to another, so you're having to kind of relearn or learn new moves or whatever the new Transformer that you're playing as has that the last one didn't. But you do get to morph into some pretty cool vehicles, helicopter, cars, things like that. There's also a horde mode in this game called Escalation that you're able to play online and with your friends. You can unlock new parts and completely customize the look of your own Transformer in this game mode, which I think is pretty cool. It's overall a fantastic Transformers game. Definitely check it out if you like the series, if you like Transformers, or if you've played this one here previously. So the next thing I got from Chris is actually a series of games for the DS, and they are part of the Ace Attorney series, which is something I haven't played before yet. I do already own it digitally, but it is nice to get these in the physical form as well. So the first one of these is Ace Attorney Justice for All, which is the second game in the series. Then he also gave me a copy of Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations, which is the third game. And then the fourth one in the series is Ace Attorney Apollo Justice. So if you're not familiar with the Ace Attorney series, these are visual novel games. They're very, very text heavy, so be prepared to do a lot of reading in these games. So you play as Phoenix Wright, who is a defense attorney. You try and solve cases by finding inconsistencies in them by looking at both the evidence and listening to the testimonies given by witnesses in the game. So these are just great games for playing for sure. If you're wanting them digitally, like I mentioned earlier, there's the Ace Attorney trilogy for the 3DS. I believe they took the DS version, and I think they might have done a little bit of a graphics upgrade or something like that. I don't remember off the top of my head. But like I said, it includes the first three games of the series. Not this one though, but there is another one that's available digitally as well. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But it's definitely a good place to start if you haven't played them before and you might want to check them out. It goes on sale in the eShop quite often. Next is a sealed copy of Jax and Daxter for PlayStation 3. This is the HD collection, and it's also the Mexico edition of the game. As you can see here, it's actually in Spanish on the cover here. So there's nothing really different with it being the Spanish version, or rather the Mexico version of the game. Other than the packaging, you can still play this game in English with this copy here in this version. So, but it might be worth looking out for this one if you're just wanting to get it for cheaper. I believe Chris's story was he ordered it on Amazon and they sent him this copy and he didn't want it like this, so he sold it off to me. So this collection here are remastered ports of the first 3 PlayStation 2 original Jak and Daxter games, a series that I have never played before. So these are 3D platformers. Each one of the games in the series, you know, they're pretty similar, but they also are a little bit different than each other. But they're all definitely worth playing through. Although the games themselves really haven't aged that great since they were originally released. But the remastered versions do look really good in HD, so you've got that going for you with this collection. Snag this if you want to replay them again, or maybe you're like me and it's your first time. It's a pretty solid collection to own. Then I got another HD collection of games from Chris, and that is the Tomb Raider HD trilogy. So this collection here includes 3 games from the second era of Tomb Raider. So it has Tomb Raider Legend, Tomb Raider Anniversary, and Tomb Raider Underworld. And these 3 Tomb Raider games I have never played before. I only really played the first original Tomb Raider back on the PlayStation 1 just such a long time ago, just so many years ago. The first 2 games in this collection are HD remakes, whereas Tomb Raider Underworld is just a re-release since it was already released previously for the PlayStation 3. These games, they are solid remakes of the originals though. It's a good collection to get and just plenty of bang for your buck, so definitely go pick up a copy of this and go raid some tombs. Next for the 360 is a copy of DeBlog 2. Now this is just a weird game that I have never heard of before. Apparently the original game, DeBlog 1, was an exclusive on the Wii. So in this game, you're this blob thing, you just roll into paint colors and then you hit the walls in the game with paint, which colors them with that paint color that you just rolled into and absorbed. So you unlock new areas in the game by just painting more objects in the game. But the catch is that there is a time limit on how long you have to paint everything on a level. So overall, it's not too bad of a platformer. It's definitely a bit different than anything I've ever played before, but it still is pretty fun to play. It's a perfect game for a younger audience too, so if you have kids, maybe get this for them. Then for the Wii U, I got a copy of Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge. So I haven't played a game in the Ninja Gaiden series since the second one here for the Xbox 360, which I also got the PlayStation Vita port of it as well. So I just remember getting to the final boss here in Ninja Gaiden 2 and giving up because of just how hard and frustrating this game is. And that continues on into this game as well. Pretty much all of the Ninja Gaiden games are just really hard and difficult. Can be quite a bit frustrating, so you know, it's a genre that you really have to know what you're getting into. I would only buy it if it's something that you really want to be challenged against. So this is a port of Ninja Gaiden 3 to the Wii U, which was then later re-released back again to the 360 and PlayStation 3 as well. It's an enhanced port to the original Ninja Gaiden 3 game, as it includes all of the DLC from the original game, as well as some additional enhancements. It's sort of like the Ninja Gaiden Sigma series, like this Vita port I have here of Ninja Gaiden 2. It does the same, treatment to the original game. It does have Wii U gamepad support as well, but it doesn't really do anything making this version more desirable than on any other console system. This game, like I said before, it's still very hard. Expect to die a lot in this game. The faint of heart should not play any of the games in this series, but this is a pretty good version to get, as it is essentially a director's cut with all of the extra goodies. Alright, and then the final game that I got from Chris was on the Wii U, and that is a copy of the Wonderful 101. So this is a superhero-like game which kind of reminds me a little bit of the Power Rangers in a strange and odd way. You control a horde of up to 100 heroes who work together in just different morph forms, like you combine them together to just make certain things. You recruit citizens into your horde throughout the stages in the game, making your powers just even more powerful with each additional person that you're controlling. But these horde abilities that all of your heroes have, it does require some energy in order to use those abilities. And you also activate them by just drawing shapes on your gamepad. And of course you can upgrade those powers using the in-game currency and all of that too. It's definitely nothing like I've ever seen in a game before. Controlling a horde of heroes. It's a fun and whimsical game. Plus, it is an exclusive for the Wii U, and a pretty decent one at that. So snag it if you happen to find it for cheap. Alright, and so that's everything that I've got to show for today. Thanks again to Chris for sending me this lot of games. I'm sure I will do more deals with him in the future, so you'll probably see more of the games that I get from him. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to give the video a thumbs up, as it always helps me out. Leave a comment down below if you have anything that you want to say about the games that I showed you today. And if you're new to the channel, then be sure to subscribe. And remember, you gotta get the power up to beat the game. Just means less editing. The first one I got here is just making sure these are in the right order. Yes, they are. Okay. Objection! 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 Includes 3 games from the second era. I don't know why I did that. So this is a port of Ninja Gaiden 3, which was first done to the Wii U, and then it was later re-released to the 360 and PlayStation. Blah, 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 blah. Alright, that's a wrap. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.